All right, so you know those tough climbs that have been giving your RC car trouble?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to dive into whether brass upgrades could actually make a difference.
Okay.
We're checking out this YouTube video
Okay.
by RC Camping and Crawling, where they actually test out these upgrades on a seriously hard mountain climb.
So they went out
Yeah.
with the intention of testing out a very specific problem.
Right.
They weren't just randomly like, oh, let's throw brass on this thing and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
They had a problem with their rig and they were going to try to solve it.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like a little bump in the road. This was like
No
steep
thanks.
inclines, loose rocks, the kind of stuff that makes you second guess your driving skills. Right?
Yeah, you'd look at it and be like, I don't even know if I can walk up that,
Exactly.
much less drive a little tiny car up it.
Yeah.
So that's what makes this deep dive so interesting, is it's not just about raw power.
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting your car to handle
Yeah.
very specific conditions.
Tuning it in, yeah. Okay, so they added a brass steering link, right?
Yes.
Brass outer portal covers in the front
Uh-huh.
and brass diff covers in the rear.
Yes.
Now, they already had brass inner portal covers
Right.
installed, so they
Yep.
were focusing on really souping up that front end weight.
It's interesting they already had those.
Yeah.
Like, they knew where they wanted to go with this.
Right.
So, and it's like, why brass?
Right. Why brass?
It's all about weight.
Yeah.
And it's all about where the weight is and what that weight does as far as traction.
Okay.
So each of those portal covers weighs 47.5 grams,
Oh, wow.
which is a lot more than the plastic.
Yeah, that's a chunk.
You think about a gram,
Mm.
right? Like 47.5 of them all in one little spot.
Yeah.
That's going to make a difference, especially in the front when you're trying to climb up something.
Right. And so that weight, especially at the front, makes a huge difference when you're trying to, like you said, claw your way up a rocky slope, right?
Yeah, you're essentially pushing. Yeah.
Those tires down onto the surface harder
Yeah.
so they can get more purchase,
Okay.
more grip.
Yeah. You can actually see this in the video. The driver was like making climbs that they couldn't even attempt before.
Right.
There's this one climb, it's practically vertical, and the car just crawls right up.
It just goes right up it.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's just physics
Yeah.
right there for you.
Yeah, so it's not just raw power. It's manipulating the forces at play to actually, like, gain an advantage on that terrain, which I think is really cool.
It is.
So it was fascinating to see how much of a difference those upgrades made. I mean, the YouTuber kept saying, like, it's wild
Really?
and doesn't even try now,
Yeah.
like referring to, like, how easy the car was just getting up these obstacles.
Yeah. It was like it wasn't even trying.
Yeah, it's, like, effortless.
Yeah.
And so, to me, that reaction tells you a lot. Like, this is somebody who knows their car, knows this course intimately,
Yes.
and even they were blown away by the improvement.
it wasn't just a minor tweak. It was like
Yeah.
transforming what the car could do.
It changed the car completely.
Okay, so we've seen how effective these upgrades can be.
Yes.
But what's like the science behind it? Why does adding weight to the front help so much with the climbing?
So let's talk about traction.
Okay.
So when a car is trying to climb,
Mm-hmm.
gravity is working against it.
Right.
So you got to have enough grip
Okay.
between the tires and the surface to pull the car upwards.
So that's where the weight comes in.
Precisely.
Okay.
By shifting the weight forward, you're increasing that downward force
Mhm.
on the front tires, which in turn increases the grip.
I see.
So think about it like if you're pressing down on a piece of sandpaper
Yeah.
on a table, the harder you press, the more grip it has.
Okay.
The harder it is to slide.
So it's not just about adding weight anywhere. It's about placement for maximum effect.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where things get interesting.
Okay.
Because they made another key observation during this process.
They realize that the front and rear outer portal covers are the same part.
They're the same part.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you can just like swap them out.
And you might already have what
That's-
you need.
That's a really smart way to like save money and
Right.
get more performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate upgrade
Yeah.
because you're not spending any money
Right.
and you're getting better performance.
So this really highlights the importance of like knowing your RC car inside and out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes the answers are right there in front of you.
Yep.
Okay. So we've seen the dramatic improvement, right?
Yeah.
From these brass upgrades.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
But is there a downside to adding all that weight?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And that leads us to a very important discussion
Okay.
about the trade-offs.
All right.
anytime you modify something,
Okay.
there are trade-offs.
Oh.
There are always trade-offs,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So while adding weight to the front of an RC car can really help with that climbing ability,
Yeah.
it's not like a magic solution.
Gotcha. So what are some of the downsides of going too heavy on the brass?
Well, one thing to think about is stress on those components.
Okay.
You know, extra weight just means your motor's got to work harder,
Right.
especially when you're climbing.
Yeah.
And that can lead to more wear and tear
Okay.
and potentially even shorten the lifespan of your motor or your battery.
So it's like carrying a heavy backpack, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Up a hill. Your legs are going to feel it.
Exactly. And just like your legs might get tired,
Yeah.
your motor could overheat,
Right.
or your battery could drain faster with all that extra weight.
So it's all about finding that balance.
It is.
Enough weight for traction, but not so much that it messes with other parts of the performance.
Exactly. It's finding that sweet spot
Okay.
for your particular car,
Yeah.
your driving style,
Mm-hmm.
and the terrain you're typically driving on.
Now, in the video, the YouTuber actually plans to push this weight distribution even further.
Oh, yeah. They mentioned wanting to actually upgrade the gearing
Yeah?
in the portal covers
Right.
to make those front tires spin faster
Yeah.
than the rear tires.
So they're basically trying to create like a pulling action
Yes.
from the
For
front.
front-wheel drive pulling action,
Yeah.
which, again, helps with the climbing.
So this is something that's used a lot in like competitive rock crawling, right?
Yes.
It seems like there's always room for like
Always.
fine-tuning and experimenting.
Constant evolution.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
people are always trying to find
Yeah.
a better way or
Yeah.
a different way
Yeah.
to improve their rigs.
Yeah, it's like those tiny adjustments that race car drivers make to shave off like
Yes.
fractions of a second.
Absolutely.
Every little tweak,
Every little twist.
they make a difference.
And it's that experimentation that keeps things exciting.
Yeah.
It's about constantly learning, adapting, and pushing the limits of what's possible.
Speaking of pushing the limits, the YouTuber also mentioned a potential upgrade
Yes.
that could be a game changer
Oh, yeah.
down the line.
They talked about going brushless.
Brushless. Now, for people who aren't familiar,
Yeah.
brushless motors are known for their efficiency and power.
Yes.
Could this be like the ultimate upgrade for an RC crawler?
I mean, a lot of people think so. It's a very, very popular upgrade
Yeah.
in the RC world.
So they offer several advantages
They do.
over traditional brush motors.
Yes.
They're more powerful,
Uh-huh.
more responsive,
Yep.
and they need less maintenance.
And they last longer.
So you're getting more torque, which is essential for climbing.
Right.
And you might even get longer run times because they're more efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they are more expensive.
Okay.
And you do have to get a compatible electronic speed controller.
Right.
So it's a bigger investment.
So like any upgrade,
Yes.
there are trade-offs to consider.
Always.
But it's exciting to think about those possibilities.
It is.
Especially when combined with this strategic weight distribution we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder that in RC, there are so many ways
So many ways.
to customize and make your car exactly what you want it to be.
Absolutely.
So we've seen how brass upgrades can transform an RC car's climbing ability,
Yes.
explore the science behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and the downsides of adding too much weight.
Yes.
We've also talked about that constant evolution in this hobby
Hmm.
and the need to experiment and
Yeah.
find what works for you.
Right.
But before we wrap up, I think there's one more thing we need to consider. Something that goes beyond just the technical stuff.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Why do we modify our RC cars?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
You know, it's a question that goes to the core of any hobby.
It's the challenge,
Right.
creativity.
Taking something and making it your own.
And sharing it with others.
It's about pushing boundaries,
Yes.
learning new skills, connecting with the community.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just about having fun,
Exactly.
enjoying the thrill of the ride.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with a thought. So as we wrap up thinking about these brass upgrades, it's not just about the parts themselves.
Right.
It's about understanding
Yeah.
why they work.
The principles behind
The
it.
principles, yeah.
Yeah.
And then using that to make smart choices for your own RC car.
Exactly. Because what might work for one person might not work for you.
Right. Exactly.
It all depends on your driving style.
Yeah.
What kind of terrain you like and your
Mhm.
goals.
Right. Like, do you enjoy those slow technical climbs
Yeah.
where it's all about precision?
Uh-huh.
Or are you more about speed and agility?
Right.
Like hitting jumps and obstacles and stuff?
Or maybe you're a little bit of both.
A mix.
The mix, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, there's no right answer.
Nope. There's no one size fits all.
when it comes to these upgrades.
Exactly.
And that's why this whole deep dive has been about way more than just brass.
Right.
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 It's about understanding
Exactly.
how weight distribution affects traction, how different upgrades can change how your car performs,
Yep.
and ultimately, how to make the choices that are right for you
Yeah.
on your own RC journey.
Exactly. Your own adventure.
So as you're thinking about these upgrades for your car,
Yeah.
remember the key takeaways.
Remember those.
Brass can be great for climbing,
Yes.
but think about the trade-offs.
Think about it.
Think about the stress on the parts, the battery life.
Yep.
And does it fit with how you like to drive?
Right.
But don't be afraid to experiment.
No, absolutely not.
That's part of the fun of it.
That's the fun part.
Try different setups. Explore new places to drive.
Exactly.
See what works.
Uh-huh.
As we saw in the video, sometimes the best lessons come from just getting out there and trying things.
Getting your hands dirty.
You might find some clever solutions or discover something new
Yes.
about your car that you didn't know before.
Exactly.
So keep being curious.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not just about the destination. It's about the journey.
Exactly.
Enjoy exploring the world of RC and keep pushing the limits. Until next time, happy trolling.